All right, so picture this. It's Halloween, but instead of the usual ghosts and goblins parading down the street, we've got something even more interesting.
Very more
We've
interested.
got a parade of large language
There's
models.
LMs.
Yeah, all the big names strutting their stuff, ChatGPT and all the rest.
With a spooky twist, of
Right,
course.
exactly. So, like, imagine ChatGPT, but dressed up like a vampire or something.
I mean, that's fun and all, but it gets way more interesting when you think about like what costumes these LLMs would choose based on, how they actually
For
are.
personalities and quirks and all that.
Exactly, because those quirks actually tell us a lot about the technology behind them.
Like what their strengths and weaknesses are.
And maybe even, where AI is headed in the future.
Okay, so let's get this parade started. Who's first in line?
All right, so first up, we've got Claude coming down the avenue.
Claude, huh? What's
Well,
he rocking for a costume?
well, Claude is coming in as the distinguished gentleman, top hat, monocle, maybe even a cane. Oh, yeah, very proper, very polite, kind of got that air of like, you know, polite uncertainty, like he wouldn't want to overstep any boundaries.
So, like, what if you asked Claude to tell a little white lie? Would he refuse?
Oh, yeah, Claude is all about ethics, wouldn't even help you plan a harmless prank. Probably give you a whole lecture on the importance of being truthful and all that.
So, like a goody two-shoes LLM?
Well, it's not about being a goody two-shoes. It's more about the fact that Claude's creators really prioritized safety and responsibility when they built him.
So he's like the poster child for ethical AI.
Yeah, basically. And it really reflects this growing trend in AI development where people are starting to understand, like, hey, we need to make sure these models align with human
Right,
values.
that makes sense. So who's next in this LLM parade?
Okay, next up, we've got Paul M., and he's totally rocking that vacation mode look.
Vacation mode.
Yeah, he's sporting a Hawaiian shirt, sandals, maybe even a lei around his neck.
So like laid back LLM.
Super chill. But here's the thing about Paul M. If you ask him a simple question, get ready for a dissertation in response.
No kidding. So, like, if I ask him for the time, he'll give me a history of clocks.
Pretty much, Paul M. is all about deep dives and thoroughness. But if you need a quick and snappy answer, Paul M. might not be your best bet.
Interesting. So is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It depends what you're looking for, right? If you need in-depth research, Paul M. is your guy.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so who's next? This parade is getting pretty interesting.
All right, so next up we've got Llama. And you guessed it, she's in a full-on llama costume.
Wait, so an LLM dressed as a llama?
Yep, and get this, she's like the ultimate social media influencer.
So, like, she's got tons of followers posting selfie all the time.
Exactly. She's all about emojis and slang and, that whole like and subscribe thing.
Oh, man, that's pretty funny. So she's like the embodiment of internet culture.
Yeah, and it's actually a really good example of how these LLMs learn from the data they're trained on, all that stuff on the internet.
So basically, she's learned to be an influencer from all the influencers she's seen online.
Exactly, which brings up an interesting question. How do we make sure these LLMs are learning from the best of the internet and not the worst of it?
Yeah, that's a good point. So are things going to get even weirder in this parade?
Oh, definitely. Up next, we've got the...
To the O1 Gemini twins.
Oh,
They are in matching strawberry costumes, and they are the deep thinkers,
yeah.
famous for their synchronized, "this request is not supported."
Dance.
Always in sync.
So do their costumes make them sound kind of slow? I mean, does that mean they are not as advanced as the others?
No, not at all.
Right.
They actually represent a huge step forward.
Really?
Oh, yeah. The Gemini models are all about multimodal AI.
Multimodal.
Yeah, which means that they can understand both text and images.
Oh,
Think about the potential there.
yeah.
Imagine an AI that can describe what's happening in a photo,
Whoa.
or even generate images from a text description.
Okay.
The challenge, of course, is training these systems,
Right.
which is far more complex than training models that only deal with text.
That makes sense. That is mind-blowing.
It is.
Okay, so we've got the ethical gentleman.
Uh-huh.
We've got the verbose vacationer.
Yes.
We've got the social media star.
Yep.
And the deep thinking twins.
Yeah.
Who else is at this party?
Well, then you've got GPT-4 Turbo,
Okay.
the speed demon.
Who answers questions before you even finish typing?
Let out.
Oh, yeah. And that speed makes it ideal for tasks like live translation
Oh, wow.
or code generation.
Oh, that would be so useful.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like having a super-powered assistant
right by your side.
by your side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's Orca, the marine philosopher, spouting whale puns while solving complex equations.
Okay.
Orca is fascinating because it takes a different approach.
Okay.
It focuses on depth of understanding over breadth of knowledge.
So it's like a specialist rather than a generalist.
Precisely.
Okay.
It's about teaching AI to reason more effectively,
Huh.
which is a really important step in LLM development.
It's very cool. Okay, and last but not least,
Yeah.
we have Orion, also known as GPT-5,
The celestial prophet.
dressed as the celestial prophet.
Yeah.
He is shrouded in mystery, always responding with, "In the vast cosmos of possible answers." Always.
Wow.
Orion is still in its very early stages,
Okay.
but it is expected to be a significant leap forward.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've met all the guests at our AI Halloween party,
We have.
but the source also mentions an LLM family dance routine, which, like,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. This is chaotic,
Oh, it's going to be wild.
but kind of amazing
Yeah.
to imagine all of these different LLMs working together, right?
Well, it definitely raises some interesting questions about collaboration
Yeah.
between LLMs, right?
Right.
Like, imagine if we could combine the strengths of each model. Claude's ethical reasoning,
Right.
Palom's vast knowledge, GPT-4 turbo speed, and the Gemini twins' multimodal capabilities.
Yeah.
The possibilities are pretty incredible.
It would be amazing.
It would be.
I have to say, listening to you talk about all this,
Yeah.
I'm not as intimidated by all this, like, technical stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Like, thinking about these LLMs as characters with their own personalities and quirks makes them feel a lot more approachable.
I think that's the beauty of this whole Halloween parade concept.
Yeah.
It really helps us understand that AI isn't this faceless monolithic entity. It's a collection of diverse tools,
Right.
each with its own strengths and limitations.
Yeah, I love that. So the next time I hear about some, like, new groundbreaking LLM, I'm going to imagine its costume
I love it.
and what that tells me about its abilities.
That's a great way to think about it. And perhaps you might even consider if you were to design an LLM for a specific task. What kind of personality would you give it and why?
Yeah.
What would its costume be in our AI Halloween parade?
That's a great question for everyone listening out there. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you on the next deep dive.
See you next time.